guys, I'm back with another video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about one of my favorite topics, which is your love life in the next 1 year. I've specifically not made this about the year 2025, which is when I'm shooting it in, so that I can keep it more timeless. So regardless of when you see this, the timeline that we are looking at is within the next year. What can you expect in your love life? Now, there are 3 piles that I have created for you guys. I'm going to be posting an overhead shot. But before we get started with the reading, I want to introduce myself if you are new. I'm Karishma and welcome to my page, Celestine Tarot. And I am a reader, a psychic medium, as well as a teacher and a healer. So if you're new here, make sure you check out my other videos and also check out my Instagram page, which is called Celestine.tarot. I post a lot of daily messages and a lot of other things that are happening astrologically over there. I also have a podcast called The Priestess, where I share day-to-day tangible tips and tricks to help you get out of feeling a certain way. How can you reprogram your mind? How can you create better habits for yourself? Affirmations, everything that you need on your healing journey, especially if you're someone who's not been able to see results. How do you actually start seeing results? What can you do on a very tangible day-to-day life? Something that has been tested out not just by me, but also the thousands of the clients that I've read for and the ones that have used this. So make sure that you check that out. Another thing is, if you want to book a reading with me, you can do so through my Instagram DMs as well as through my website. I'll be posting the links down below. So make sure you check all of these out. Now, in today's reading, a quick message to all of the people who have been following me since a while. Welcome back. I did promise you all that I'll be making more of these. So here is my humble attempt to do so. Now let's get started. In today's reading, I am going to be talking about just general things in your love life. Just remember that this is a collective reading, so take what resonates. There, you might be tempted to see more than one pile, and that's okay. That just means that there might be other messages that may be there for you in the other pile as well. But today's focus is purely going to be on your love life. Now, the way I have pulled cards is not just like what's going to happen, but what do you need to do to kind of make that happen as well, right? Like instead of just sitting and waiting around, what can you do to attract the kind of love life that you do want? So we are going to start with that. I'm leaving an overhead shot now. So these are the 3 piles in front of you. So hopefully by now you've already picked your pile. Before you do that, make sure that you are subscribing to my channel, because I'm going to be making a lot more pick a pile videos as well. And you may also be tempted to check out my other videos that I have made. But I am ready to begin. So let's start with pile 1. Okay, so this is the pile that you chose. The first card that we have is Yin and Yang, for what you can expect in your love life. So the Yin and Yang card talks about being in a relationship that feels so perfect, feels like it is meant to be, where one person completes the other person. Now, when I say this, I don't mean you need another person to complete you. I mean that you need to be whole to attract another person who's whole, and together you all will elevate the kind of life that you're living. That's what a yin and yang connection is about. Everything that you feel you need in a partner or they need in a partner, it's like a perfect puzzle piece coming together, and that's what I'm seeing for you this year. However, the way to make that happen is you need to assess your own energy first. Are you living too much in yin? What I mean by that is, are you living too much in your feminine? Are you being too passive? Are you being a little too laid back when it comes to your love life? Or are you feeling more like yang, more like a masculine energy, regardless of your gender? Are you feeling more active, like you want to do something, like you want to So the energy of the masculine is somebody who's like a go-getter all the time, right? So are you in that energy more? In order for you to attract this perfect puzzle piece partner, you need to be able to balance your inner feminine and your inner masculine. And sometimes that takes a while, but it's not something that is impossible to do or will take years to do. It is just a habit of first assessing where you are when it comes to your inner energies, and then when you are able to fulfill the needs for yourself, when you are able to combine the two. What I mean by combining the two is, for example, your yin is responsible for feeling, for nurturing, for receiving. Your yang is the kind of energy that provides, that protects, that nurtures, that does the action. So when internally you are able to balance these two, which means your yin wants something, your inner feminine wants something, if your inner masculine is able to provide that. For example, things that these could be would be wanting validation, wanting attention, feeling secure. When you are able to fulfill these for yourself, when you are able to feel that I am a whole person, I don't really need anyone to come in and fulfill me, I am content with where I am without wanting someone to, what is the word that I want to say? Without wanting someone to fulfill me or complete me, that's when you'll know your yin and yang is in sync. When that happens is when I feel like this person is gonna enter your life. I've pulled some additional cards and I'll be pulling more of them through my tarot deck. I'll also be, in the end, pulling a timeline card for you where if we get that this is gonna be happening within a year. Okay, let's start with the first card. So the first card talks about expecting powerful change, the new moon eclipse. So if you are someone who has been waiting for this partner to come in, if you are someone who has been waiting for this person to make an entrance, if you've been manifesting this, if you have been feeling that this is about to happen, know that this is. But the thing with eclipses is that the energy is very quick, it's very unpredictable, and it's also very huge in terms of the scale that it happens at. It's not an ordinary full moon or a new moon. Those are intense. This is like 10 times intense, which is why you may have had to wait a while for this to come in. So for some of you, I am getting that you have spent some time just manifesting this and just waiting for this to happen, but it may not have come in as quickly as you were expecting. Let's read from the book. If you want affirmation that you can achieve your dreams and get the desired outcome in this situation, then this is it. So rest assured, it is happening. Especially if you've been worrying about this, know that this is your confirmation. This is your sign that it is gonna happen. Whatever kind of partner that you want, this person is coming in. However, you need to remember that because it's an eclipse, because the card talks about the eclipse, it may not be an easy path for you to get to. Now, don't get scared. I've already told you what it is that you can do in order to attract this partner in a much smoother way, which is balancing your yin and yang. And it may seem a little like I am seeing situations where, you may feel like I want to give up hope. I can't do this anymore. I don't want to, I don't want to, I don't know if I have enough patience or faith to let this happen. But you need to remember that when you have prayed for something, when you are looking at something as this is exactly how I want this person to be, this is how perfect I want my life to be, it does take a little time to create, right? Imagine baking a cake. You will take so long to bake that cake. You will want it to be the most perfect cake that you have made. So it means that you will take that extra time and that extra effort and you'll put it into baking that cake, so that when you have it, you are going to understand the I want to say the fruits of your labor, you're going to be able to enjoy that much more than something that you would have made in like probably 10 minutes. All I'm trying to say is that you have been hard at work, right? Right now, your cake is in the oven. The universe already knows that this is what you want. So instead of waiting for this person to happen or to come into your life, shift your focus within yourself and start feeling more wholesome within yourself, more fulfilled within yourself. The next card we have is full moon in Aries, a fiery climax approaches. So I am seeing that this is very quick moving energy with the eclipse as well as Aries as a sign. This is going to be something that is going to be very, very, very quick. So it may feel a little bit like, oh my god, like this just happened, it just clicked. And sometimes when you are not ready, when you are not in that phase of receiving equally, when you are not used to receiving love in general, you may tend to push things off, which is why you've been given this time to equally receive as well as take. Usually what happens is when we are in a relationship, when we are in love, we tend to keep giving, right? So when we receive something, we end up dealing with it in a very different way. Like some of us may not be ready to receive, and it may feel like a very alien thing, like, oh my god, this person is doing so much for me. It feels too good to be true. So that may be something that may tend to push you away from this person, even though they're doing something great for you. Another way that you may be reacting is that you may not know how to receive. So when somebody is doing these things for you, you may not understand, or you may not be able to accept it because you don't feel good enough to accept it, which is why, like, I keep hearing the phrase too good to be true. That's why you could be pushing away a lot of connections, which is why till the time you are not balanced inside, till the time you are not comfortable with receiving as well as giving, understanding what receiving means. And when I say understanding what receiving means, it basically what I'm talking about is being okay to ask for help. Just doing these things will help you receive. So you can probably try these things, because it's what has helped. These things have helped me to come more into a receiving phase and be okay with receiving. Asking your friends for help, right? And actually taking their help. And I know sometimes I don't take my friends' help, but you know what I'm asking about. Like, you don't have to fight everything alone. So if you feel like you've been fighting your battles alone, like nobody's there, ask for help, whether that's from friends, whether that's from family members, whether that's from your cousins or anyone for that matter. Asking for help does not make you weak. This is a sign, if this is happening to you, this is a sign that you're living in your masculine and not balancing it with your feminine. 2, doing things for yourself, resting, taking time to rest without feeling any guilt, because your body needs to receive that rest as much as doing those things as well. Like, not I'm not talking about resting only in the night when you're like, oh my god, I'm so sleepy. I don't mean that. Like, actually resting your mind and your body. The key word for this is without feeling any guilt. Like, there will be seasons in your life where you're completely overworked, you're completely stressed out, but because you want to keep going on, you may not accept rest, or you may not give that to yourself. You need to remember that rest is not a gift, it is a necessity. It is not a reward. It is not something that you need to reward yourself with. It is a necessity. So if you've been in this phase of just doing without finding time to rest, regardless of your body or your mind, you may be living in your masculine, which you need to now correct and change into a feminine. You're like, imagine a divine feminine. She's chilling, like she's resting. She's good. She knows things are coming to her. She is receiving. She's not feeling guilty about receiving or resting or not doing actions. She knows the energy she brings to the table. She nurtures the people around her. And whereas a strong divine masculine energy is somebody who's a provider. He knows that in order to get what he wants, he needs to work towards his goals. So that's why resting is also as important as doing. That was number 2. The third thing that you can do is spending money, effort, whatever it is, on yourself, gifting yourself, rewarding yourself, allowing yourself to receive from you. For example, if there is any stress happening in my life, no matter what is happening, the one thing that I will always do for myself is get myself a massage. You will always find me after a really stressful experience in the salon getting a massage for myself, because that is a reward from me to me, and let me know that I am so proud of you for surviving this. I am so proud of you for going through all of this, and you need to enjoy now. You need to relax now completely. You need to have not just fun, but you need to take care of yourself right now. And it's okay if it's a little expensive. We'll manage all of that, but this is a gift from you to you. So when you experience these things, now I'm not asking you to do the same thing, which is get a massage. For you, it can be something completely different. Another thing that I like doing is buying flowers for myself. Another thing that I like doing is eating chocolate cake, even though I might be on a strict diet, but just indulging a little bit in whatever it is that I love, letting myself enjoy that without guilt, without any stress, without any fear of oh my god, what if I don't have money? Oh my god, what if I'm doing the wrong thing? Oh my god, what if I put on weight? Without that stress, just allowing myself to receive things is something that helps me balance my feminine energy. So you need to understand where it is that you stand in terms of your energy. Most of us predominantly are operating from our masculine energy because of the kind of lives that we live, because of the time that we live in, right? So it's very natural to stay in your masculine, but you need to balance that out. Again, regardless of your gender, you need to balance that out with your inner feminine, which is okay with receiving. Because when the time comes for you to receive this manifestation that you have made, this person that is coming in your life, right? Of course, we all want a partner who loves us, provides for us, gives us happiness, does things for us. But when you are not comfortable with receiving, you may not be able to accept the kind and the amount of love that they have to offer you, which is why the universe is asking you to take a step back, like, hey, let's first balance this and then go ahead, because if I give this to you too soon, you might not be able to accept it. Because the next card that I have talks about nothing will come out of this situation if you continue to operate in a completely predominantly in a masculine energy, from a masculine energy. Nothing is going to come out of this situation, because all you're doing, all you're focusing on is giving and not being able to receive. So anyways, like, I do feel like with this pile, you have been manifesting way too hard. Like, I'm not saying this, no disrespect, no judgment, I get it. When we want something, it's the only thing that we can focus on, right? Like, when will this come? When will this happen? Do I need to increase my efforts? Am I not doing something properly? Am I doing something less than what I should be doing? Am I not putting in as much intention or as much energy as required, that we forget that manifestation is a two-way street. It's co-creating with the universe. What that means is, when you manifest, think of it like a law. Think of it like, of course, these are called universal laws. Do you know another universal law? The law of gravity. No matter where you are on this planet, gravity will always work, right? Gravity will always work. It's a law, right? Similarly, these universal laws of attraction, of detachment, of assumption, whatever technique you are applying, it is a law. Just as gravity is a law, it is tried, tested, foolproof. No matter whether you throw a ball from the first floor, whether you throw it from the 34th floor, the ball will always come down because of gravity, right? Even if you're on an airplane, probably, if you, I don't know that much science, but maybe if you throw something out of an airplane window, God forbid, it will fall down. Okay, let's call it a helicopter. I don't know how you would throw things out of an airplane, but you get my gist. It is a law. So whatever it is that you are doing, it is going to have the effect that you want. Why? Because it is certain. It is a law. So just like any other law, a part of it is something that you need to do, and you need to let the universe figure out whatever it has to give you the other part. We don't need to know how exactly does a ball fall. I mean, yes, we learned it in school, but we don't need to know how these things work. We just need to know that they work. You know that if you stand outside and throw a ball, it will fall down. We may not understand the complexity of it. We may not understand why it happens or what exactly happens or what speed it may happen, unless like you have studied about it, then that's a separate thing. But we know that if we are doing this, the result is going to be that, and I don't want to get into the entire why it's happening. So by you using these laws to manifest something, you don't need to worry about how that is happening. You just need to focus on what you need to do. Throw the ball. Once you've thrown the ball, best believe the universe is going to catch it, and it is going to give you exactly what you want. The ball in this case being your manifestation. But what I'm trying to say is that maybe you've been putting a lot of energy into doing. So take this time to calm your emotions down, especially if you are living in this fear. Because I also sense like with this card, nothing will come out of the situation. I feel like a lot of y'all are lacking in faith, lacking in like, when is this gonna happen? I have waited a really long time to see this happen. It feels like, even if you look at the card, all of the other moons, they're so close up. Even for the next card, they're so close up, but it feels like you're too far away from your manifestation. You see how close this is and how close this is, and then you suddenly see this. It feels like it's way out of reach, right? But that's not the case. It's much closer than what you feel. Let's see what the book has to say about it in case I'm missing something. This may or may not be good news. Okay, hear me out. Don't be scared. This may or may not be good news depending on what you're asking for. For example, if you were worried about something, whatever it is, this card can be taken as a sign that there is nothing to worry about. However, if you're asking about a new project of any kind, including a new relationship, it's a sign to adjust your expectations or change things so that you get a different outcome. Remember that the cards can only predict what you are currently creating, and you can change that with both your behavior and your beliefs. So, like I was saying, if you feel like you're losing hope, if you feel like, oh my god, that just started shaking on its own. If you feel like you're losing hope, or as if, you know, this feels too distant, it feels too far, best believe that's what you're manifesting. So it's time for you to make a shift, make that change. You are the powerful change. Expect a powerful change. You can do this. You can manifest this. The key to your success is your confidence. The more confident you feel within yourself, the more comfortable you feel with your innate personality, your authenticity. That's why I always, one of the things that I have started doing since a while now is self-concept work, where I've started believing that yes, I am the most powerful creator. Yes, I am gonna be like, of course I will get this. Yes, I am a goddess. Yes, I am these things. And it first started off as a very like, I don't believe it. But now I truly started believing it. Like, yes, I am worthy of receiving my manifestation. So I'm not scared anymore of receiving it. So another thing that you can do is this self-concept affirmations. So instead of focusing on when your manifestation is coming, focus or shift your focus to your inner world. What is your inner world like? What are the thoughts that you keep having when you are thinking about this? What are the things you believe about yourself, and what needs to change? Once you start doing this, you are pulling this partner in. This person is coming in, definitely. Let me see if there are any messages from your special person. What do they want to tell you? For pile 1. Okay, something's fallen. So the energy is very, I want to say, active. I want to pick that card up last. What do they want to tell you? I am always trying to find you in others. So for some of you, this could be an ex that you're manifesting. If that is the case, we'll check that energy. But that was the first message. The next message is, I am with you in spirit always and forever. So strong ex vibes, strong. I wish things were different between us. You will always hold a piece of me and my heart. So for most of you, I am seeing that this could be someone from the past. And there's one card that's fallen, which I'm going to pick up now. Oh, guess what? There are two. There were two cards, which is very strange. Anyway, what is the message? I am afraid to commit and be pinned down. I do feel like this could also somewhere be your energy. Everyone always tends to abandon me and you never did, which scared me even more. Again, I do feel like the cards that fell down were more like your energy. Now, I'm not saying that you may be commitment phobic, but you may be scared of being vulnerable, which could have been the reason for whatever went down in your relationship previously. Now, for those few of you or the ones that don't have an ex or are probably already married, let's get more messages for pile 1. What's in store for pile 1's love life within the next 1 year? Okay, whatever, basically what I'm seeing is that there is a discord. Again, the Two of Cups has come in reverse. The Two of Cups is like the yin and yang card. So right now, your energy, either regardless of whether you're with a person right now or you're not with a person, if you're with a person currently and you want to know where it is going, best believe it's leveling up. This could be marriage, this could be engagement, this could be having kids, whatever. There is a celebration coming up. However, the thing that you need to work on is balancing your energies. Specifically for a very short group, if you are on the verge of breakup, I would ask you to reconsider it. Or if you have been manifesting that this breakup doesn't happen, oh my god, there are so many groups here. Okay, so for those of you who feel like you are on a verge of a breakup and you have been probably manifesting in terms of you don't want that to happen, the way to deal with this is balancing your inner world. And when you balance that out, your partner will naturally balance it out within them as well. You don't need to do anything. You just need to remember that your outer experiences are shaped by your inner experiences. So when you feel comfortable in receiving and in giving, when you feel comfortable in committing or feeling vulnerable with this specific person, because I did get that card about vulnerability, about wanting to commit and not being scared of committing. When you are not scared of these things, your partner will sense it. These issues will subside, and they're not major issues from the cards that I'm getting. I mean, I am seeing you all being completely happy in the next 4 weeks to 4 months, depending on most of you. For some of you, again, different group. Some of you could be divorced. This could be you after a divorce, and you may be feeling a little bit hopeless, and I completely get it. It's very natural to feel that way. But whatever it is, you need to remember that when you look at yourself in a certain way, other people can notice it. So you're being asked to work on the way you think about yourself, the way you feel, and attracting the kind of partner that you need, not want. Not the kind of partner who you would look good together with. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, for example, one of the activities that I make most of my clients who are manifesting love and doing a reading with me, what I make them do is I ask them to make a list, or I ask them to make a essay about their partner. Like, yes, we all want somebody who's funny, who's smart, who's witty, but it goes beyond that, right? Like my level of humor can be very different from like somebody else's. They might be funny in their own right, but I may not find them funny, right? So what is that exact thing that I really like? What is that exact humor that I really like? I deserve a partner who understands or matches that level of humor, right? So for me, for example, you might be like, but funny is funny, but it's not. It's really not. I'm very offended if you ask this question to me. For example, there are some people who enjoy, don't judge me, but enjoy movies like Welcome. I don't. I don't. And if I have a partner who wants to watch Welcome all the time, I'm just going to be like, are you crazy? Can we want something else? Can we want something funnier? Yes, I know most of y'all will jump in my comment section saying that, oh my god, Welcome is the funniest movie. Fair, in all rights, it may be. But I was okay. I had fun the first time I watched it. I don't need to watch it again. It's a very small example of what I mean, that we all deserve a partner who is on the same wavelength as us, right? Like, I mean, of course, like my partner can like Welcome, I'm not saying that, but all I'm saying is that I don't need to. So basically what I'm trying to say is, when you write this essay about who exactly is your partner, what makes you laugh when you're with them, what makes you think that they're smart, what makes you think, like for example, I also, of course, we all want people who are smart. We are dating people. We want to date people who are smart. For me, if I am with someone who's extremely scientific, who doesn't understand spirituality, they may be very smart. They may have like a PhD in mathematics or something, but they may dismiss my idea of what I identify with, what I believe in completely. Right? I mean, it is a possibility. I may not find mathematics a very easy conversation to talk about. So again, when you say things like smart, funny, every other person is smart and funny, let's be honest. So what is your person individually like? And how do you know this? When you know yourself, when you know that I am this kind of a person. That's where self-awareness comes in. That's where having a self-concept comes in. That's where understanding your inner world comes in. Like, I know exactly what I like after a reading. I have a very specific routine, or I have a very specific meal that I need to have after a reading, and I know exactly why. Right? I'm not saying I'm like the queen of self-awareness. Maybe I am. But what I'm trying to say is that when you are self-aware, when you are aware of your internal world, when you know that your inner feminine likes things like this, she likes being spoken to like this, when your inner masculine does these things for the person that, you know, we love, when he takes such kind of actions and he understands that he needs to receive that nurturing as well, when your inner world gives you these clues about who you are, that's when you will be able to attract this yin and yang partner. So regardless of whether you are single, whether you are dating, whether you are on the verge of breaking up, whether you've been divorced, the message for all of these groups is common. It is common that it is time for you to take a step back from your love life in order to take 4 steps ahead. Because best believe, when you do these things, you'll know exactly who your type is. And by your type, I don't mean the kind of way they look or, you know, the way that they are, but your type in terms of the kind of partner you need. Not the one, like I said, not the one you want. You want a partner who is funny, but you need a partner who is funny in a specific way, who doesn't force his funny down on you or her funny down on you. Right? So whatever it is, whatever that kind of partner who is a perfect fit for you, the yin and yang, I mean, it doesn't mess around. It is the perfect fit. It is that missing puzzle piece. And when you find this puzzle piece, will you be able to look at it and say that this is the missing puzzle piece? This is my future wife or husband, or whatever it is that you believe in. Is this my person? That is why the inner self-awareness is important. Let's see, what else do we have? We also have, you may have a couple of issues when it comes to your family. Like, I know this is a very generic statement, but what I mean is that you may have grown up feeling as if you don't have anyone. So you may have grown up feeling extremely lonely, which is why you may not have an idea of what true love feels like. If this is you, the universe also wants you to work on that. If you can't, probably speak to your parents for whatever reason, you may not be able to speak to them or whatever, the universe is asking you to love yourself more than enough without expecting it from somewhere else, including your parents. Like, I do feel like something happened which made you feel like you weren't taken care of. Now, this could be financially also, like you may have struggled with finances growing up. This thing that I'm getting is that purely related to trust, someone betraying your trust in your family, like a parent or an uncle or an aunt. Another thing that I'm getting is like probably living with a family and then seeing them kind of break apart. These are the 3 scenarios that I'm getting. And if this is you, you're being asked to send love to them as well as send love to yourself. The last section of today is I'm going to be pulling a timeline on when you'll be meeting your person. If you haven't already, let's plan on meeting the person. Okay, in next May. So whenever you're watching this is going to happen in May. Back of the deck is within 5 months as well. So this person is coming in. A lot of 5s in both the cards. So 5 could be a significant number. I also remember saying between 4 weeks to 4 months. So depending on when you watch this, that's 5 months from then or the next May. So I hope you guys like the reading. I'm very excited for your love life. Make sure that you comment down below and let me know how it goes. Before you go, I would love if you would like, share, comment, subscribe to my channel, as well as share this with a friend in need, especially if you know a friend who's been down in the dumps about their love life. Let's bring them a little positivity in their everyday life. And that's all that I have for you today. Make sure that you're following me on Instagram. My Instagram ID is celestine.tarot. I also have a podcast, like I mentioned. It's called the Priestess Podcast. Make sure to check it out on Spotify, Amazon Music, and Apple Music. And if you want to book a one-on-one with me, you can do so through my Instagram DMs as well as my website, which is celestinetarot.com. That's all that I had for you today. I'm going to see you in the next one. Bye. Moving on to pile number 2. So this is the pile that you have picked. And let's see your overall energy as well as advice from the universe when it comes to the love life. We have the Gardener. Okay, let's break this down. So the Gardener is someone in the deck, in real life also. The Gardener is someone who tends to his garden. He is very focused on tending to his garden, in terms of he knows that when I say tending, I mean completely, in terms of not just growing beautiful things, but also taking out things that are causing decay, like weeds, cutting them out, ensuring that it is an everyday practice. Every day you may have to tend to your inner garden. So if you have picked this pile, I do see you meeting someone when you're too busy doing your inner work. This is if you are single. If you are already with someone, you're being asked to shift your focus. It's similar to the first pile, but slightly different. For the first pile, it was more about engaging their inner and their inner feminine and their masculine, like balancing it out. For you, it's slightly different, but the messaging is similar, where I am seeing you literally bring this creation to life. Like if you are single, you're bringing this person to life. You're one step ahead of pile 1. Pile 1 is just starting to do that, is just starting to kind of create that person. You have already created that person and you're chilling. You're just working hard on, like, it's coming. It's like planting a seed. You're tending to it every day. You're watering it enough. You're taking care of it. You have enough faith in that seed that this seed will grow into something beautiful. The sun is shining and you are doing everything required to bring this person in. So if you have manifested this person, kudos, because you are killing it when it comes to this manifestation or manifesting like your person. This specifically, I am seeing, I don't know why I'm seeing you having 3 options. So either for some of you, you could have 3 options. For some of you, I do feel like you will know that one option, like you will know who that one option is, which is like the correct one for you. I don't know why I'm seeing 3 options. Signs for you could be roses, blue roses, weirdly, and butterflies. I do feel like a lot of people, like ever since you started working on yourself, you have this magnetic energy around you, which means that you're pulling in a lot of attention. You're pulling in a lot of people who want to be with you. However, because you're so focused on yourself, I don't think that you may be seeing these options, or if you are, you know that you're not afraid to wait. You're not afraid to rush into this decision anytime soon. Like, it is like literally like the gardener, like you are okay. You will only cut that flower when it's perfect. You know what I'm trying to say? You will not mess around with your life. You will not mess around with your garden. You are okay to not rush into something because you understand, or you are understanding the beauty of patience, that when you let something happen organically, no pun intended, but when you let something happen organically, and when you let something, when you don't rush for instant validation, you will receive the best. You know what I'm trying to say? You will receive exactly what you wished for. It's like basically being hungry and you go to a restaurant and you order this dish and the waiter tells you it'll take 20 minutes. And you're just like, I don't care, I'm hungry right now, get me something in the next 5 minutes. And they get you toast. You may not be completely fulfilled with it. You may not feel like your hunger is gone, but you just had something because you were feeling it. Versus telling the waiter that it's okay, but I know in that 20 minutes, I'm going to be feasting. And come 20 minutes, you are having a feast. You have gone home feeling extremely happy, extremely satisfied, extremely fulfilled. That's the difference. So I feel like you're the second person in this story, where you are like, it's okay. I know I have options. I know I can, do these, meet people and see where it goes, but I know exactly what I want. And that's why tending to your inner garden, when I'm like, the reason I'm saying it again and again is because you do already have a very high self-concept. You know your worth. You know what efforts you need to put in more, what you need to cut out from your life. These could be fears, limiting beliefs, people, situations that have happened in your past. All of this you already know. So the advice for you when it comes to your love life is continuing to tend to this inner world that you have already been very connected to. Let's see what other messages we have. Okay, the first message was work through your fears. So if you aren't working through your fears, if you're, kind of trimming around the edges and feeling a little, scared to address your fears or get over them. Like, for example, when we manifest, the first thing that comes up, because we are programmed this way, is what if it doesn't happen? What if it doesn't happen? And if you go in sheer panic at this time, now I'm not trying to be I literally do mean sheer panic when we go like, oh my god, I didn't think about this this perspective at all. I don't know what I'll do without it. I don't know if I'll be able to survive without it. If this is you currently, if you feel terrified by the thought of what if it doesn't happen, then you may have to work through your fears. The card is new moon in Scorpio, so it could be a sign which resonates with you. But Scorpio is intense energy, it cannot be taken lightly. You best believe when Scorpio energy comes into a reading, it is something intense, but it is extremely rewarding, and more than rewarding, it's liberating. So if you have been focusing only on positive thoughts, the reason why I always advise people that I'm working with to not just focus on positivity but also the slightly darker aspects of it, which means, when I say dark, what I mean is confronting your fears, understanding your fears, doing shadow work. Light and shadow go hand in hand, right? Like both of them exist at the same time. So when you only keep focusing on your light, when your light increases, so do your shadows. So if you haven't been balancing out your shadows with your light, or your light with your shadows, any other this thing, like don't keep, basically what I'm trying to say is don't just focus on one thing. It could be that you are just focusing on your light in terms of being toxic positive. What I mean by that is just affirming, yes, great things are happening, great things are happening, great things are happening, without addressing your fears. What is causing you to manifest this? It may not come in as quickly as you want. These are the weeds that need to be taken out in order for something to happen. I'll give you an example for this, like an analogy. Let me think. Literally your garden. Okay, if you are growing something, you will have to take out the weeds, right? Because you know, if you don't take out those weeds, they may engulf your beautiful rose bush that you have grown. And because like you can water that rose bush every day, you can take care of it every day, but if there are weeds around it, you know it's going to die. It's not going to happen. It's not going to bloom, right? So this is you taking out those weeds. I'll give you another example which is more relatable. Say you want to run a marathon, but you're terrified of will you be able to complete it or no. But every day you're affirming that I have ran the marathon, I have ran the marathon, I have ran the marathon. When the day comes for you to run your marathon, you may not be able to complete it because you don't believe that you can. Trust me, this is a true story. I thought I would not be able to complete. I ran a marathon, and then 3 days before I ran the marathon, I started affirming that I have finished running the marathon. I am capable of running this marathon. I will be able to do it. And I finished. So when you have already created these, these fears, they tend to block your manifestation. They tend to come in and cut them down. So instead of fearing them even more, giving them more power through that, address it. What is making me feel that way? Why am I feeling this way that I will not be able to manifest it? Instead of doing it with fear, do it with complete self-awareness. Do it very mechanically. That's the best way I can describe it. Do it very mechanically, where you can imagine yourself going in observer mode. So what I mean by observer mode is that I like to, when I am going through something very heavily emotional, I like to detach from that emotion and go into observer mode, as if I am somebody else observing me as my best friend or as a separate entity. And I'm saying, okay, what's happening? Why are you feeling this way? Is it because of this? Is it like, do you think like this because this has happened? What has happened? And then I allow myself to receive these answers, and then I reverse engineer it and I make affirmations for that exact fear. So for example, with one of my clients, one of her fears was she had, how do I explain it? One of the clients that I worked with, she had this deep fear of abandonment, and the way it would come, the way it was showing up in her life was she was not able to keep partnerships for long. All of her relationships would end. She would feel very intensely about it, but they would end very soon. Like what I mean by very soon is within 1 year, within 2 years. Like, she was not able to sustain them for longer. And then we worked through that and we understood that she had this fear of abandonment, and what that would end up triggering is her self-sabotaging a relationship. It is the weirdest thing, right? But imagine the one thing that you want. She would manifest it with all her heart. I want to be with this person. I want to get married to this person. This is the person that I want. She would end up self-sabotaging it because she didn't believe she could. She didn't believe that that was going to happen, that she would get married to this person, that this person would love her for the rest of her life. So every small thing that he would do would trigger her to great explosions. And we've all been there at some point, right? Which is why I know this feeling too well. So when your fears are untouched, they manifest in these ways and they block you from manifesting further. We worked through her fears of abandonment, and just within, I want to say, a year, she was happily married. So that's why working on your shadows is equally important. Which is why the first thing that you need to do is work through fears. Once you have started working through your fears, that's when the energy will start gaining momentum. That's when things will start moving up. That's when you will feel that hope. Again, I'm seeing three a lot. So 3 options. 3 could be a significant number. Seeing 333 could be a sign. The last bit of advice for you is, don't let pride get in your way. Sometimes what happens is that we are so stuck to our ways, we are so stuck to the lists that we make, to the kind of checklist that we have about our partner, that we don't give something new a try. Sometimes we don't know what is good for us. Sometimes it can be something completely different, right? And it's great to feel pleasantly surprised by the universe. It's like, if you know you have a gift coming, if you know exactly what that gift is, you know that your friend is gifting you a perfume that you think you like, you asked her, you've told her that, hey, you know what, this is exactly the perfume that I want this much ml, and I want it like from this store specifically, you will stop applying all other perfumes. You know what I'm trying to say? Till you don't get that, then you feel bad that, oh, I'm not wearing a perfume. And then imagine if she gifts you another perfume and it actually smells better than the one that you wanted. Would you take that? Would you use it? You won't, right? So sometimes we end up restricting ourselves from, no, this doesn't look like my manifestation, so I'm not gonna. And usually what does that is pride. Because you feel that, oh my God, I deserve better. But sometimes you may not know what that better is. It could slap you in the face and you will not know what it is till you don't give it a try. I'm also getting that with this pile, one of the other things that you need to address sometimes is also your ego. Now, I am a firm believer in having ego, but not to the point of self-destruction or destruction of others. A healthy ego is one where you are self-aware for what you deserve, but you're not treating somebody else in a, you're not looking down on someone like, oh, you think I'm gonna be okay with this. I feel like that is the distinction that you need to make. Where are you falling on the spectrum of ego and of pride? Where is this coming from? And once you address that, I do feel like your garden is going to be complete and you're going to be able to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Specifically for people in a relationship, if you do feel that something has slowed down, something like has become a little shaky or a little wobbly, the message for you is also similar, where you may need to work on your pride, work on your, more than pride, like having expectations. I'm not saying having expectations is bad, but when those expectations are met with constant, what is the word for it? Heartbreaks. Like when you know a person is not capable of giving you that, how much are you willing to compromise? I don't know why this question just came, but this is for you to answer. How much are you willing to compromise? Right? I'm not trying to sound like Seema auntie, but love is sometimes it is a compromise where it may force you to let go of your shadows and accept a new way of being, and that happens when you get out of your comfort zone and experience something new. That's what I mean when I say that it's a compromise. I'm not saying that you don't have to be yourself and all of those things. All I'm saying is that there may be some shifts that you may need to make internally before you ask this other person to change, which is why the gardener card is also here, where you internally first make those changes, and then I do feel like you'll get the kind of results that you want. Let's see, before we close the reading, what messages does your person have for you? Okay, let's see. The first message that I have for you is you will always hold a piece of me and my heart. Didn't this come in the previous deck as well? I mean, the previous pile as well. But your person does hold you very close to them. I do feel like there's a very possessive, but in the best way possible, vibe that this person has in terms of they cherish you. They have this feeling of pure love for you, and they hold you very close to them, very dear to them. So this could be specifically, I don't know why I smell tobacco smoke, but maybe this person smokes. But what I'm trying to say is that if you are with this person already, even if they're not vocal about it, that is truly how they feel. They do feel that they hold you very close to them, and that's why they may not like talking about you to a lot of people. If this is someone who you're not with, or if this is someone new that you're waiting on, I do feel like they have this energy of that they will cherish you a lot. For some of you, I'm also getting you are the missing half of my soul. So this person is equally like a lover boy. Like that's the energy that I'm getting. With the you will always hold a piece of me and my heart, and you are the missing soul, the missing half of my soul. I do feel like they have this very loving energy, and they will see you as the one. They will see you as someone who is just perfect, just like the most perfect person in existence for them. The next card that I have is I wonder if you have given up on me and given up on us. Now, for some of you, for this group I'm getting it's very slight, but for some of you this could be an X, but for most of you it is like a person asking you about the manifestation. Have you given up on us? Have you given up on the idea of us? And have you forgotten? I don't know. Forgotten seems to be playing a lot in my head. So this could specifically be for the group that is missing their ex. I do feel like you could be in a long separation or in a lot of distance, and they are feeling regret over their actions. So even the other cards now, like they're speaking to me from that sense where they may be holding you, even if you may not have spoken to each other in a really long time, they may be holding you very close to them, and they are recognizing that you are the one for them. The last card that I have also talks about something similar. I have been living in denial all my life. So I feel like this could be your energy specifically, where I feel like you're not prepared for your person in the best way possible. I'm not saying that you're not prepared internally, but you're not prepared for this person to come in, because their energy is going to be very different than what you are used to. So that's all that I have for you today. And make sure to check out my Instagram page, which is called Celestine.Tarot. You can also take a look at my other videos that I have posted. And in case you want to book a one-on-one reading, you can do so through my Instagram DMs as well as my website. I also have a podcast called The Priestess, which you can listen to if you want tips and tricks on how to deal with situations. And I hope to see you very soon in my next video. That's all for you, pile 2. I'm moving on to pile 3. Oh wait, no, don't go. Before we do that, Now, let's see if you're manifesting this person, or if you're single, or even if you are in separation, when is this person coming back? Okay, like I said, this was quick energy. This person is coming probably within the next 1 month. A clue could be a clue for you is that you could meet this person through work, or when you're frustrated with work and you go somewhere to chill. I don't know, something related to talking about work is coming up. The quickest timeline that I've gotten for you is in 19 days. So it could literally happen within 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks of you listening to this. That's all that I have for you today, pile 2. I will see you in my future videos. Make sure you check out the other videos that I have. And also make sure that you're following me on Instagram. I go by the handle celestine.tarot. And I also have a podcast called The Priestess by Celestine Tarot. Make sure you give that a listen as well. If you do want to book a one-on-one reading, you can do so through my Instagram DMs as well as my website, celestinetarot.com. That's all that I have for you today, pile 2. I'm moving on to pile 3. Let's get started with pile 3. Welcome to your reading. Let's see what the cards have in store for you. So this is the pile that you've selected, and the card that talks about the energy of your love life in the year that you're watching it. Whenever you watch it, it is a timeless reading. I don't know why I wanted to say 2025, so it could be happening around that time, and I only felt that for your pile. So the energy that surrounds your love life in this year, the energy that surrounds your year in love is abundance. Look at that. You're gonna be feeling overwhelmed in the best way possible with the abundance coming into your love life. For this pile, I feel like the energy is slightly different. I do feel like majority of you already are with a partner, and I do feel like the energy is gonna start building up. Like you may start taking more active steps towards building this commitment. However, for a small, very small group of you, I am seeing that you may be single. You could be waiting for this person to come in. The advice that I'm getting for you is to start living in abundance as if it already exists. This is for those who are manifesting someone in. But overall, I do feel like you are receiving more than what you asked for, and that's great for you. I am so happy. This is one of the most lightest, in the best way possible, the most playful pile that I have had today. The key to unlocking this abundance is, like I mentioned earlier, to feel worthy of this abundance already, to start living as if it already exists. Let's see where this abundance comes in play. I'm pulling some clarifier cards for your love life this year. Okay. So the first thing that I got is that there is going to be an abundance of partners, potential partners that are coming in if you're single. For the other group, I am feeling that for too long you have restricted yourself from feeling worthy of receiving, from feeling worthy of, again, slightly similar to pile 1. So you may have come from there, or you may be tempted to see that pile as well. But for a few of you, I am seeing that you may be at a crossroads in terms of what is happening next. Like, why am I not able to see what's happening next? The reason you're not able to see what is happening next is because you're not able to visualize, nor will you be able to comprehend the amount of abundance that is coming in. So what I'm getting is, imagine your manifestation, right? This is where you are. This is where, your manifestation is. The universe is going to bring you up to here. It's like you asked for a rose, but you got a bouquet of roses. That's how the universe is seeing you right now, that you are worthy of this abundance. And that's why you may not be able to visualize or see how this comes in. It's not your job to know how it comes in. It is just your job to believe that you are worthy of it and it is coming in, right? I did mention this in pile 1 as well, where when you look at manifesting, look at it as a law. And a law is something that is certain. It is going to happen. It's like the law of gravity. Gravity always works, which is why when you talk about the law of attraction, the law of assumption specifically for you, the law of assuming that everything is going to work out for me, I am going to be blessed in my love life, you will pull that in. You will pull that in. But right now, you may be not able to see the scale at which you're meant to receive these things, which is why it could be causing confusion. And for some of you, I also feel like you could be settling for less. You may not be able to ask for more, whether this is you in a relationship or whether this is you single. I feel like you have a very bare minimum, like this is what I want, this is all that, I don't know if I'll get this, but you will get more than the bare minimum if you ask for it. Like for most of you, I do see those in a relationship, your partner does want to do these things for you or will do it for you if you have that conversation with them that, you know what, I like this, I like receiving flowers, or I like, having date nights, or I like feeling this way. For maximum people, once you let your partner know this, I feel like they will be ready to wear different hats and treat you or give you princess treatment, again, regardless of your gender. And for those that are single, I feel like you're settling for less. You're settling for bare minimum. For example, when I am in a relationship, there are certain things that are bare minimum, right? And for me, that scale to other people might just be slightly high, but for me, it's the bare minimum. For example, I won't get overtly excited if somebody is giving me flowers. Like, I won't be like, oh my God, this person sent me flowers. Can you believe it? No, my energy is going to be like, thanks. Like, I'm just going to be like, thanks. I loved it. That's great. Cool. Bare minimum. When I am with someone, if they are respecting me or the profession that I am in, it's going to be the bare minimum. I'm not going to be shouting from rooftops or telling all my friends, oh my God, you know what? He loves that I do tarot. Bare minimum. Of course he does. I mean, he's with me, so he must. Like, he may not believe in it completely, but he respects it. Bare minimum. Right? Another example of this would be loyalty. Having loyalty. Like, that is the bare minimum. Having consistent communication. Again, bare minimum. Posting you on social media. Bare minimum. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it in terms of when they do it. If they don't do it, I just might. But what I'm trying to say is that for you, this bare minimum bar is too low. So whenever somebody might be doing something nice for you, like for example, when you're in that chatting phase, when you just start speaking to someone and they have a genuine interest of getting to know you, some of us get very excited. Like, oh my God, this person wants to talk to me all the time. But that is the bare minimum. So for you, you may need to identify whether you are running below the bare minimum. I don't know how to explain it, but you need to, essentially what you need to do is raise your standards. Raise your standards in people in the way that they treat you. And I don't mean this through ego or through feeling this pride that of course he has to do this for me. I'm not talking about that energy. I'm talking about to be with me. This is the kind of person I am. And because I am this kind of a person, for example, like I mentioned about the flowers, like I love flowers. I love receiving flowers. So for me, that is the bare minimum, because it shows me that my partner is paying attention to me, is valuing me, is understanding what I like, and is trying to make me happy in the ways that he knows that I will get happy. So it is the bare minimum for me, because buying me flowers is not about the fact that these flowers are expensive or all of these things. It is the fact that this person genuinely cares about me and they're showing me their care. They're showing that they're paying attention to what I like. So for you, this bare minimum is very low. It's probably non-existent. So you need to raise your bare minimum a little bit up. And of course, when you're manifesting, manifest from here, not from the bare minimum, from here. Like, these things are given, these things are already happening. Princess treatment already happening, but you need to manifest from up here. This is something that I learned, and it has truly changed the kind of person I have become. When I don't accept the bare minimum, I need a, I don't know how to explain it, but even in my friendships or in any relationships that I have, regardless of it being romantic, platonic, family, I don't accept just the bare minimum. And when I stopped accepting it internally, when I started expecting more from people to show me, they did. In the weirdest way. It's like my energy just shifted. My friends started showing up for me more. My family started being more supportive. So all of these things, when you internally shift, you will see it in the outside world. And the secret to this, the way to make this happen, is by telling yourself that you are good enough. You may have forgotten this. You may have forgotten that you are good enough. You don't need to be extraordinary to receive the bare minimum treatment. You are good as you are. And that's why maybe this confusion exists in terms of whether you deserve this abundance that is coming your way. Because you best believe you do. So instead of settling for less, that's what the universe is trying to let you know. I've gotten 2 kings, and I've also gotten the Emperor, my favorite card in terms of when it comes to a partner. So instead of settling for kings or pages or knights or low energy, I'm not trying to diss anyone, but settle for the Emperor. The Emperor is above all. In like a tarot deck, the Emperor is above all energies, above all kings, all queens, all knights, all pages. And you deserve this. But you're pining for this energy when you are worth so much. And your worth is not defined by what has happened in your past, or your worth is not defined by the way you look, or the way you are, or the amount of money you're making, the house that you live in. All of this does not define your worth. Your worth is defined by you internally, and that's what the universe is trying to explain to you. It's trying to liberate you from this, from the preconceived notions that you have about yourself, from your limiting beliefs. That's why when this abundance comes in, you need to be very ready. You need to be very ready, because it is going to shake you up. The next message that I have for you is nothing is yet set in stone. Now, for some people, this is a very scary message in terms of you may listen to me saying this and think that, oh my God, nothing is happening. But that's not what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is, even if something feels a certain way, as if it's not going in your way, for example, for some of you, this could be, say, a relationship that didn't work out. Now, it could have been probably that you were already in this relationship, or before it began, it ended. When you are in a situation like this where it feels like all doors are shut to you, that is when this card comes in to tell you that nothing is set in stone. So even if it is looking like a no, it does not necessarily mean that it is a no. There is a chance for this to happen. And in order to make this happen, you need to surrender to the divine. You need to surrender to the universe. We also have Judgment, which is essentially a similar energy where you are awakening yourself to something bigger. You're putting your faith in something bigger, and you're seeing the result of it happen. That's why, like, you're not able to comprehend what's going to happen next, because I have mentioned this in one of my previous videos. To attempt to understand the workings of the universe is like trying to fit an entire ocean into a teacup. Your brain will melt. You will not be able to understand it. So you don't need to. For example, if your TV is spoiled, or if your washing machine is spoiled, you're not going to, get like a course on how to fix your washing machine. You're simply going to call the call center and be like, hey, you know what, I have an issue, can you come fix it? And they will. You don't need to know the technicality behind how electricity runs. You just know it runs. You switch it on and it runs. You don't need to know everything, right? Are you trying to understand what I'm trying to say? Like, you don't need to know everything in order for something to happen. Sometimes it's just better to let the universe do what it does best. And this is what it does best. It showers you with love when you start believing that you are worthy of it. Let's see what messages are coming in for you from your person. This 5-3's person, what to tell them? Okay, they're very vocal, number one. So you may be feeling them. If you are not with them, you may be feeling their energy pretty intensely. I communicate with you via songs. So when you listen to a song and you feel good in yourself, that, I don't know how to explain it, but sometimes, you just know that this is exactly the kind of song that I would want my partner to sing to me. It is the universe reminding you that you are worthy. Your partner will sing it to you one day. And it has happened to me, so trust me. The next message that we have is your eyes are so intoxicating. So you may have met this person for some of you, and I feel like you all may have ended up speaking a lot through your eyes. Let's see the next message. There's something about how I feel when I'm with you. It's intoxicating and confusing. Okay, 2 times they're saying intoxicating. Did you guys meet at a bar? Because that's the vibe that I'm getting. I'm kidding, but they feel like you are this breath of fresh air and they don't know how to act around you. So you could be, kind of making them nervous, which is why it's important for you to see that you are worthy. You are worthy of making someone feel intoxicated. Let's see the next message. The karmics around me are just a distraction. I feel like this is your energy where we got the 2 kings and the emperor, regardless of the gender. So for some of you, you know that the other extra people that are giving you the bare minimum or less than the bare minimum, you know that they are just a distraction. For a rare few of you, I do feel like, you remember how I spoke about the situation where someone from your past or something that ended before it started, you may see them with other people, but they are just a distraction. It is always and will always be you. You have impacted my life remarkably. Back of the deck energy, I'm a little shocked, is I cannot just give up on my family. So there could be some family issues that this person is having, and that could be a reason why things may not be, moving or progressing forward, which is why the energy, I feel like that's why the card that you are good enough came up, where if their family is not accepting of you, you need to remind yourself that you are good enough and then surrender to the divine. Even if it looks like it's a closed door, the universe is blasting it open for you, and you're not going to be able to believe the abundance that comes out from this. Let's now end the reading with a time frame card. The time frame literally fell, but finally, what is the time frame? Them meeting that person. Okay, oh my god, so many cards are falling. Okay, let's see. The first card that fell out is your work is delayed. So there could be a slight delay in you meeting this person or re-meeting this person or reconciling with this person. The next card that we have is within 11 months. Let's see the card that fell down. It says in 60 days. I'm going to lift that later, but the card says that it could happen well within the next 60 days. And if it doesn't, it's okay. Just remember, every delay is a blessing in disguise. I know, tougher, easier said than done, but it's okay if things get delayed, because you would rather wait for something to fall perfectly than accept something which is half cooked. Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? Like, you would spend, was this the group that I gave that example of eating at a restaurant in? Basically, I'm going to repeat that again, but what I mean is that imagine you're hungry, you go to a restaurant, you want to have a feast, you're that hungry, and you want it fast, and the restaurant waiter tells you that the only thing that you'll get ASAP is a piece of bread. You will not be satisfied with it. Instead, if you say that it's okay, I'll wait, I'll distract myself. It's okay if it takes 15 minutes, 20 minutes, but I will eat exactly that. And you tend to distract yourself with other things. You're happy in a conversation, you're chilling. And when that food comes and when you enjoy that food, when you wait for that entire feast to come, you will feel the happiest. It's the same with your manifestations. So if it hasn't come in yet, don't let time be the deciding factor in your manifestation. That is something that I would want to say. Don't let time be a deciding factor. Yes, it is a way in which your manifestation can come in, but it's okay if it's taking time. The next card that I have is it could happen on the 5th, 14th, or the 23rd of this month or the next month. So these dates could be significant to you, or keep an eye out for these dates whenever you're watching in the next month or in the coming month. If you're watching it on the 1st, say for example, these dates could give you certain clues, if not that person. So that's all that I have for you. Make sure that you like, share this video with your friends who might be needing a little positivity when it comes to their love life. Comment on this video as well in terms of what other things do you want to see on it, and subscribe to my channel. Also make sure to check out my Instagram page, which is Celestine.tarot. I also have a podcast called the Priestess Podcast by Celestine Tarot. If you want to book a one-on-one reading with me, you can do so through my Instagram DMs as well as my website, which is celestinetarot.com. So that's all that I have for y'all today in this video. I've already mentioned this, so please just like, share, comment, subscribe, do the usual things. And also I would love to know any ideas that y'all have for what pick a pile readings I should do next. Let me know, and see you guys soon. Bye.